For this next section, we're going to graph using slope-intercept form. So that was the form we talked about last time on y equals mx plus b. M is the slope, and b is the y-intercept. So I think on the video I only did the ones that were a little more involved. So for this one, you have 3y minus 2x equals negative 3. So you want to get it in this form. You could graph using intercepts like we were doing a few, like the 2 sections ago or whatever. You could plug in a 0 for y, 0 for x, get the intercepts and graph. But if you want to graph using the slope-intercept form, you want to get it in this form, so we need to solve for y. So to solve for y, I'm going to add 2x to both sides. So I'm going to have 2x minus 3. Then I'm going to divide by 3, and again, you want to divide this by 3 and divide this by 3. Don't write it as one big fraction. You want each piece. So 2 divided by 3 is just 2/3 x, and then negative 3 divided by 3 is a minus 1. So my slope is 2/3, and my y-intercept is y equals 1 or 0, negative 1. The slope is positive, so top number tells you rise, bottom number tells you run, so up, down, left, right. So for positive slope, most people are going to start at the y-intercept and they're going to go up 2 and then right 3. You have to do 2 positive directions to get a positive slope, or since 2 negatives make a positive, you could, if you really wanted to, you could go down 2. But if you go down 2, you will have to go left 3. Negative and a negative make a positive. So most people are going to do this one. If you want to, you do another point or, be different, you can do that one. So graph this. Graph my y-intercept first, so that's negative 1. And then using my slope, I would always just go up and to the right. So my slope is up 2, 1, 2. So I go up 2, 1, 2. And then right from there, 3. So I go over 1, 2, 3. So it doesn't mean use an ordered pair. So from here, count up 2, 1, 2, and then over to the right, 1, 2, 3. And then draw your line as best you can. If you wanted to go down 2, I'd go down 1, 2, and then left 1, 2, 3, and my point would be there about here on the line. So I could extend it out further if I wanted. For the next one, you have 6x plus 10y equals 30. So again, I'm going to get it in this slope-intercept form, so I'm going to solve for y. So I'm going to have 10y equals, if I subtract 6x, I got minus 6x plus 30. And then I'm going to divide by 10. So I'm going to do negative 6 divided by 10, which reduces to negative 3/5 x. And then 30 divided by 10 is a 3. So this time our slope is negative 3/5, and the y-intercept is 0, 3. This time our slope's negative. So most people, if it's negative, most people put the negative on top, and so this tells you up and down. So if it's negative, you're going to go down 3, and then the bottom's a positive 5, so you go right 5. For negative slope, you have to do 2 opposites. You can go down and to the right, which is what generally everybody does, or if you really wanted, you could put 3, make it positive, and go up 3. Then you'd have negative 5, so you'd have to go left 5. So you have to do 2 opposites, a positive, or not opposites, I don't guess, but a positive direction and a negative direction if you have negative slope. So either way, most people would do this one, the down 3 and right 5. So again, draw our graph. Start out at your y-intercept. Our y-intercept is 0, 3, which is there. And then I would do this. I would go down 3, so I'd go 1, 2, 3 down, and then right 5, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over. So that actually gives you the x-intercept when you do it. And draw my line going down since it's a negative slope. And for the last one here, we've got x plus y equals 0. So I'm going to get it in that y equals mx plus b form. So solve for y, which means all I have to do is subtract x. I get y equals negative x. So my slope is what's in front of the x. It is negative 1. My y-intercept, if your b is missing, this can be, you can say negative x plus 0 if you want. So my y-intercept is 0, 0. Now some people, when you have a whole number as a slope, some people prefer to write it as negative 1 divided by 1, which is fine. They just like to see it as a fraction. If your slope was positive 3, they'd put 3 over 1 just to make it a fraction, because anything divided by 1 is just itself, so it doesn't matter. If you want to do this, that's fine. So if your slope is negative 1 over 1, you're going to go down 1 and right 1, or you can go up 1 and left 1, whichever way you want to do. So draw your graph. Y-intercept is the origin, 0, 0, happens to also be the x-intercept. And then slope of negative 1, we can go down 1 and right 1, or if you really wanted, you can go up 1 and left 1. You'll know you did it wrong because if it's a negative slope, the line has to be going down. So if you went the wrong way, your line would be going up, and you would know that would not be correct. That would have to be a positive slope. So you can kind of check that way.